I want to come back to this text that we were in on last Sunday. I tell you often that I come back to the text each Monday, like my mother used to do, to see if there is yet meat on them bones. And so we are back here at this text again this morning because I want to spend a few moments trying to expand our view, if we can, on what God is saying to us through this text, not just in a general way, but what God is specifically saying to us who are gathered here this morning. Last week, both Sunday and Wednesday, I asked you to consider several questions about the personal implications of this text for us. That is really the only way that transformation happens. You've heard that from me over and over again, that we come to the text and we do not ask questions of the text so much as the text asks questions of us. And so I ask you to do that and to sit with the implications, the personal implications of this text on us. We need to come back to the passage again. If you're not familiar with it, then you know that Jesus has risen from the dead. John tells us in John chapter 21 that this is the third time that Jesus has revealed himself to the disciples after his resurrection. And then in verse number 1 of John 21, he lays out, he says, this is the way that it happened this third time. That he's going, how Jesus showed himself alive, revealed himself to his disciples, unpacked himself in a way that he had not previously done, or layered on top of something he had already said, so that it would be more clear. And so how it happened, right? What if John were writing this today, he would say what had happened was, right? Jesus risen from the dead. Peter and 6 others of the disciples who are also fishermen are standing around, and Peter announces to them, "I'm going fishing." They say, "Well, we're going with you. We're going with you." And so they head out to fish that night, and they labor all night long. You remember the story from last week that they labor all night long, and they catch goose egg, nada, nothing, zilch. They catch nothing. Jesus, as the sun is rising, and the sun is reflecting off of the Galilean Sea, the Sea of Tiberias, whichever name you want to use, they are not clear. They do not have a clear picture that this is actually Jesus on the shore, but he is standing there, and they have fished all night and caught nothing. And Jesus says to them, "Children, do you have any fish?" And you remember the story. They have none. They have caught nothing all night long. Jesus says to them, then cast your net on the right side, on the starboard side of the boat, and there you are going to find some fish. Now, they have fished all night from the port side of the boat, because that's where they fished from, the port side of the boat, not the starboard side of the boat. And Jesus says, cast your net on the starboard side, the steerboard side for real fishermen, right? I'm not one of them, but the steerboard side of, I fish at McCormick and Schmitz and Sharks, and that's where I fish best. But for real fishermen, do not fish on the steerboard, the starboard side of the boat, because that's where the steering mechanisms are, and the net would get caught in the steering mechanism and tear apart. And so no real fisherman fished on the starboard side of the boat. You fished where it was safe. Jesus says to them, take a risk on me and throw the net on the steerboard side, the risky side of the boat. And he says, and there you will find some. They do that, and they pull in a whole boatload of fish. I mean, literally a boatload of fish. 153 big fish they pull, they catch in that moment, and then the story goes on from there. We want to come back to this passage because we don't want to miss the community implications of this text. Now, I've asked you to look at the personal implications, but we don't want to miss the community implications of this text. What this text means for us, not just for me, myself, and I. We risk missing the community implications of this text because of our tendency to gravitate to the personal implications of the text. We risk doing that because when we read, right? When we read, and we all do it, don't we? And it's natural to do, especially in our devotion time. We read, we impose singular pronouns where the text does not. Okay? We impose singular pronouns like I and me when the text is saying we and they and them. And that's important to recognize. Are you still with me? The only singular pronoun in this entire story is the first one, where Peter announces with his independent self, right, impetuous self, Peter announces, I'm going fishing. Now, I don't know how he intended to do this by himself, but he was going, because this is not pole fishing. This is not sitting on the dock of the bay watching the tide roll away. This is net fishing. This is a big old net with weights on the corners that you drop over and over again into the water and try to haul in the fish. Peter says, singular pronoun, I'm going fishing. Are you still with me? Yes. Everything else in the story is a plural pronoun. We go with you. They, them, us. And we don't want to miss that and superimpose on the text singular pronouns when the text is plural. It is our individualistic, often self-centered culture that causes us to read I when the text intends we. Let that drop a minute. Let that drop. It is our culture that we bring to it. We bring to the text a certain amount of American culture that makes everything about me. and not about everybody else. That makes everything really about so we do that are you with me? We do that in our thinking, we do that in our theology, we do that in our teaching, and we do that in our preaching, that everything is about he is our personal Lord and Savior, as though he was only for us and nobody else. We bring this kind of thinking to the text when that is not what the text is saying. These are you with me? These are plural pronouns because the implications are plural. My point here in this text is that there are not 7 fishing rods hanging over the side of the boat. Can I say that again? There are not 7 fishing rods hanging over the side of the boat. There are 7 men working together with one net to get one job done. Are you with me? That they are not doing their individual thing. They did not rent a space on the port side of the boat so that they could get their own thing done with the benefit of a group boat. Are you hearing me? This is and I know this is, let this run over through your mind, because I know this is a different way of thinking, but this is the Bible way of thinking. There are not 7 private contractors fishing on a group boat. They are not doing that. The boat, the common boat, is not a place for them to get their fish on. Right? They're not trying to get their individual fish on here. They are coming together. They said to Peter, we go, say it with me, we go with you. We go fishing. Not Peter's going fishing and we gonna watch. Not Peter's going fishing and I'm gonna rent me a spot. We go fishing. We go fishing. More than one person has to grab this net and throw this net in the water repeatedly and drag it in, tie it into a bag, and haul the fish away. Say it with me. We go fishing. The boat is not just a place for them to do their own thing. It is a partnership. With that in mind, I want to call your attention to some of these same verses that we looked at last week, but I want us to look at them from this perspective. Are you still hanging with me? Can you hang with me long enough to decide? Look at verse number 6. This is what the text asks of us. This is what it is asking of us. Not of me or other individuals, but what it is asking of us. Verse number 6. Say this with me. Help cast the net. Help cast the net. Help. Somebody say help. Help. Wasn't that the Beatles? Help. Help me. So help cast the net. He said to them, look at verse number 6. He said to who? Them. He said to them. You can talk to me. He said to them, cast the net on the right side of the boat. Cast the net. Cast the net. Not cast Peter's net. Cast the net. Not cast Thomas's net. Cast the net. The net belongs to them all in this work. The net is there. Cast the net on the steerboard on the right side of the boat. And Jesus says, and you will find some fish. We are called to cast the net of the gospel, to bring as many fish people, as many fish as we can into the kingdom. That is our task. We might have to cast the net somewhere we haven't cast it before. We might have to cast the net in a way we ain't cast it before. Because what they were doing all night didn't work. And only an insane person keeps doing the same thing, expecting different results. Jesus says, y'all do something different. Cast the net on the right side. Are you hanging with me? We might have to do something in a way we haven't done it before. We might have to take a risk to cast the net wider than our comfortability. Are you hearing me? Right. Look at the text. All 7 of them went on the boat. Are you there? And all 7 of them worked. We need everybody on the boat to help. Look at somebody next to you and tell them, will you help? Will you help? Will you help cast the net? Will you help cast the net? Not asking you to do it all, just do some. Are you with me? Just do something on the boat you own. Are you hear me? Because you got on the boat. You see what they said? Can I talk to y'all this morning? Peter, whether this was a backdoor invitation or not, I don't even know what he might have said it kind of like, sometimes I have to say stuff. I have to tell y'all what I'm going to do in hopes that you'll join me. Because a direct invitation ain't worked. So I just have to tell you, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. So sometimes I just say, well, y'all, I'm going to be in prayer on Wednesday night at 7 in hopes that you'll catch my drift. I don't know if that's what Peter was trying to do here. Let them catch the drift. I'm going fishing. But whatever, they volunteered. Are you hearing me? They said, we will go with you. You on the boat now. Tell somebody you on the boat now. Tell them you on the boat now. You may as well help. You may as well help. We need to work together. Is what the text is telling us, to cast the net as wide as we can reach it, to catch as many fish as we can. Because there ain't no point in being on the boat if you don't intend to catch nothing. Because otherwise, it's what? It's just a boat ride. You hear me? Notice verse 6b. Notice verse 6b. So they cast it. What? The net. They cast the net, and now they were not able to haul it in because of the quantity of the fish. No, I want you to notice here that our job, Jesus says to them, cast it on the right side of the ship. Y'all still listening to me? Cast it on the right side of the boat, and you will catch some. He didn't say how many, Mama. He just said you're going to catch some. Now, the few times I've been fishing, I settle for some. Most time I catch none. Jesus says you'll catch something. You may not catch them all, but you will catch some. Hello? Notice that our job is to cast the net. How much we catch is up to him. Hello? Our job is to cast the net. The outcome is up to him. We won't catch them all, but Jesus promises you will catch some. Ask him again, will you help with the net? Ask him, will you help with the net? All right, they ain't said nothing yet, but that's okay. We just gonna keep on asking them. Will you help with the net? They just might be giving you that look like they don't understand you. No comprendo. They understand what you're saying. Right? But we're just going to keep on asking. All right, you with me? Maybe you can come. Maybe you can bring some fish with you. Maybe you can invite somebody to church. Maybe that's it. Maybe you can bring your neighbor to church. Maybe you can gather up all the kids that run in front of your house that you try to run away and bring them to church with you. Whatever you can do, everybody needs to help cast the net. Look at this. Look at the second thing. I'm almost done. Y'all look at this second one. That the text says to us, help. Look at verse 8. Help bring the fish to shore. Would you help? Would you help bring the fish to shore? Would you help? Go ask them. Would you help bring the fish to shore? Y'all didn't ask them. They scared you the last time. Ask them. All right. Look at verse number 8. Look at verse number 8. Peter learns that it is Jesus. That it is Jesus. John, the one that he loved. John says it's Jesus. It's the Lord. It's the Lord. Peter throws on his coat because he's stripped for work, and he jumps in the water and he swims to Jesus. Verse number 8. The other disciples came in the boat, dragging the net full of fish. Right? But why? Because it was so many, they couldn't lift it and put it in the boat. So they left it in the water and drug it behind the boat, using the flotation of the boat as momentum, as power and strength to pull the net to the land. They couldn't lift it, and so they drug it. Anybody ever got drugged to church? I grew up getting drugged to church until I turned 14 and I started taking myself to church. My mama had a good theology. You gonna act saved until you get saved. You gonna act like you love Jesus until you start loving Jesus. And so she never said to me, oh, you can make your own choice about whether you want to go to church or not, or whether you want to read or not. I didn't get that choice. I got drugged. Okay. So they dragged. There's a whole different. They dragged the net of fish, for they were not far from land, but about 100 yards off. They cannot lift the net directly from the water to inside the boat, so they drag the net to land in tow of the boat. Maybe what you are having trouble doing on your own might be easier with the help of the boat. Maybe what the Lord has called you to is not an individual call, but a group call. Maybe instead of trying to do everything on your own, maybe instead of trying to do everything that you think the Lord has called you to do, maybe instead of trying to do it all on your own, all in your own independence, all in your own strength, maybe you need to join up with the boat and let the strength of the boat help you get it to shore. Notice here, I'm gonna keep going. Notice here that the catch is different. This catch is different, so they need to bring them in different. Are you still hanging with me? Are you still hanging with me? They need to bring them in different. See, everybody's not coming the same way you came. Everybody's not coming the same way you came. Everybody don't hear the same way you hear. Everybody won't get to shore the same way you and I got there. This was, I didn't save myself, but I don't know if I had much choice. early on. This culture is a whole new different culture. This is a whole new lay of the land. You've got folk in our culture that never heard about Jesus Christ or the gospel. Or you have a whole do you understand that there is a whole generation in the last 10 years that have never set foot in a church? Do you know that there are children who have never heard the word Sunday school? You understand that there's a whole generation, grandchildren and great-grandchildren, that do not know what it is to come to a church. Not forget any of, not even on an Easter Sunday. Everybody's not going to come the way that you came. The catch might be different, and how you haul them in might look different. If you can open your mind to the possibility that what we have done in the past may have been good in the past, but not necessarily working right now. Can you at least consider that the way we have done it might need to be adjusted for a different catch? Are you with me? Can you at least give me that? So we might not be able to lift them directly into the boat. When I say boat, you know what I mean, right? We may not be able to directly lift them into the boat, lift them into the church. We may not be able to directly pull them there, but maybe we might have to drag them a little bit along the way. Maybe we have to get them in another kind of way. Maybe Starbucks is the front door. I don't know. Maybe you might have to spend some money and take them out to breakfast or something. Maybe that's the way. Maybe you might have to go to your neighbor's house and help them with their grass or something. Maybe there's another way to bring them to shore. They might have been intrigued. Is anybody listening to me this morning? They might have been intrigued by the net, but they're not ready for the direct haul. However we do it, we have to get the fish in the net to the shore, or the catch will be lost. Do you hear me? You can't just catch the fish. I ain't a fisherman by no means, but I've seen people do it. Okay? You don't catch the fish. You don't catch the fish and then do nothing with it, unless you're doing a catch and release, which ain't the gospel. You got to pull them in and do something with it. The fish are in the net, but there are not enough hands to bring them to shore. Jesus said it this way. Jesus says that the harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. The harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many fish you catch if everybody just stands there and looks at the fish we caught and nobody pulls them into land. It doesn't matter how many people bring their children to Sunday school if the seasoned saints won't show up to teach them. You gotta play a role. That's all right. I'll say amen to me. Listen, are we really going to let the fish die in the net because it's too heavy a lift? Or because it's inconvenient? Or because it doesn't meet my schedule? Are we really? Are we really seasoned, walking with Jesus all this time, all these years, growing in our faith? Are we really going to sit on the sidelines and watch the fish die in the net? Are we really going to do that? question of the text. Are you really going to sit on your do nothing while fish die in the net because it's inconvenient for you? Or are you going to help get them to shore? Are you going to help some new believer? Are you going to help some child? Are you going to help some teenager or young adult? Are you going to help some new person? Listen, you do not have to be a Bible scholar to help somebody. All you need to do is just be 2 or 3 steps ahead of them. And you can help in some kind of way. You don't have to be Peter, but you can at least be Thomas. Or Matthew, you can be somebody, whoever else, the 7 of them that showed up. I don't think Matthew was in there, but you can do something. I told you this text is about us. This text is about what we do with the opportunities to catch fish and what we don't do with them. Ask them, will you help bring them to shore? Ask him, will you help? Will you help? I'm almost there. If you count in the minutes before I'm done, I'm almost there. Look at verse 11. Look down to verse number 11 with me. You jump around a minute. Look at verse number 11. Are you there with me? At a glance. Now, this is group. Remember, this is group, but this spoke to me. And it might speak to some of you all that got that, kind of personality. Sort of kind of like me. Look at verse number 11. Look at verse number 11. Can y'all, are y'all mature enough to laugh at yourself? All right, good. Look at verse number 11. At a glance here, it seems that Peter did by himself what the 7 couldn't do. Right? Jesus said, bring some of the fish that you have now caught. And Peter runs out there and grabs the whole net of 153 fish and pulls in. At a glance, it looks like Peter did what all 7 of them, what the other 6 couldn't do together, Peter did alone. Right? In reality, Peter only pulled the net a few feet. Right? Because the other 6 had drug it 100 yards until it got in the land, in the sand drift. Are you hearing me? Peter did, I want you to catch this. Peter did what he could do because the other 6 did what they could do. Yes, sir. Can I let that lay there for a minute? Peter was able to do what he could do because the other 6 had already drug it to the shore. They did most of the work, albeit the boat helped, but they brought it 100 yards. Peter only drug it a few feet. Peter was able to haul the net ashore because the other disciples had dragged it 100 yards. Verse number 7. I had to learn this the hard way, y'all. I learned this the hard way. Sometimes, see verse number 7, Peter jumps over the boat. Peter jumps over the edge of the boat and he swims to Jesus and leaves them to do the work. I've had to learn the hard way that sometimes the best thing a leader can do for the team is to get to Jesus and let the team work. Instead of trying to pull the boat myself, drag the fish, do all of it, sometimes the best thing I can do is to go somewhere and get with Jesus and let the other 6 do the work. Because I cannot do what I can do if you don't do what you can do. Ask him again, will you help? Ask him, will you help? Did they say anything? Ask. Did they just grunt at you? Ask them what they help. This last thing, I'm done because y'all tired of talking to me. Look at here's number 3. Here's number 3, verse 11, verse 11b. The implications for us is that we trust the net. Look at verse 11b. The net was full of large fish, 153 of them. And although there were so many, yet the net was not torn. Clearly, this is an unconventional way to catch fish. This is an unconventional way to haul them in. But they had to do what they had to do with what they had to do it with. Our task is to obey Christ, is to cast the net as wide and creatively as we can and trust him to hold the net together. If he helped catch the fish, if he helps to bring them in, surely he'll hold his net together. For more than 2,000 years, fishers of men have cast their net of the gospel into the sea of the world, catching and hauling fish of every kind, of every race, every tongue, every creed, every nationality, every sin, from shallow to deep, and still the net holds. That the same net that saved you and me still catches fish. It still catches fish. You gotta trust the net. We don't need gimmicks. We don't need shows. We don't need smoke and mirrors. We don't need strobe lights or comedians. We don't need any of that. The net still works. The gospel of Jesus Christ still works. It still saves, and it still holds those that it catches. What we spread is the gospel of Jesus Christ, not free pizza, not free bread, not milk and cheese. We spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Anything else is simply a means to the end. The net still works. Tell somebody the net still works. The net still works. Either the net's gonna work or we need to quit fishing. Because if the net don't work, ain't no point in fishing. If the gospel don't save, ain't no point in preaching. If Jesus doesn't make saints out of sinners, then there is no point to preaching. If Jesus doesn't still save alcoholics and drug addicts and prostitutes and goody two-shoes people, if Jesus doesn't still save, ain't no point to the gospel. We gotta trust the net. We gotta trust the net. We can't exchange the net for gimmicks. We can't do a bait and switch and promise. That's what line fishing is. Line fishing is a bait and switch. Line fishing is a bait and switch. I don't know much about it, but it seemed like a bait and switch to me. You promise the fish something to eat on the end, knowing you got a hook. You promise the fish a worm, and you don't tell the fish that there's a hook all up in that worm. That ain't the gospel. That ain't the gospel. We don't make promises of prosperity. We don't make promises that the Bible didn't make. We simply make the promise that Jesus saves from the utmost. Jesus saves the rich and poor. Jesus still saves black and white, rich and poor. The net still works. The net still works. Give them Jesus. Give them Jesus so they won't be disappointed when he show up. Don't give them a promise that he never make. Give them Jesus. Give them Jesus. Promise them that Jesus will forgive their sin. Promise them that Jesus will turn their life around. Promise them that Jesus will deliver them from sin. Promise them that Jesus will save and keep them saved. And that's a promise he can keep. He said, listen, although there were many fish, yet the net was not torn. Of all the hundreds and thousands and millions and countless, Revelation says numbers of numbers that we can't even number and can't even count, of every tongue and every kindred and every nation, every tribe. The net has held them. It still ain't broken. It still ain't broken. Not one soul. Not one. In 2,000 years, not one soul who has ever truly placed their eternal hope in Jesus Christ has ever been lost. Not one. Not one. Nor ever shall be. Tell somebody the net still holds. This is what Jesus says. What Jesus says in Matthew 13. He says again, Matthew 13, verse 47, again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was thrown into the sea and gathered fish of every kind. When it was full, men drew it ashore and sat down and sorted the good into containers and threw away the bad. So it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come out and separate the evil from the righteous and throw them into the fiery furnace, in that place where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I ain't got to worry about the fish we catch. We just bring them all in and see what Jesus does with them. From the first until now, the call of Christ remains the same. It has never changed. From the moment he saw Peter and Andrew on their father's boat and said, come, follow me, and I will make you to become fishers of men. And it's never changed. We may have stopped fishing, but the call never changed. Next week, we are going to ask you during our family meeting that we promised you every quarter. We are going to ask you next week. We're going to give you some specific ways that you can help. Cast the net, drag the net, and trust the net. We're going to give you some specific ways. I'm not asking you to go home and cogitate on this. I'm not asking you to go home and talk about whether pastor preached good or bad or whether he preached too long or too short. I'm going to give you some specific ways for you to respond to what the Lord is saying to us. I got one more installment on this before we ask for your decision next week on what you are going to do to help. Because otherwise, if I cast out the net and don't haul it in, all we did was take a boat ride this morning. I will have these asked for you. Help cast the net. Help bring the net to shore. And trust the net. Let's pray together. Father, thank you. Thank you for loving us enough to remind us of your call, for loving us enough to stir in our hearts longing for the sea. Change us where we need to be changed. Fix us where we need to be fixed. Fix our hearts to do your will. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. I will make you fishers of men. Fishers of men.